All right. So last week we had off um for 4th of July. But if you're able to come to Zoom or to class, I'd love to have you here. Um Kudos for everybody who made it. And the first thing I'd like to do is kind of look at the syllabus. We're already in week 3. We've only got 7 weeks, which is crazy. And because this class is on a Thursday, like week 7, that last class will just be the last class. So we won't have a week after that class 7. So everything will be due uh, the last class, like the paper. Okay, so let's just see where we're at in the syllabus because I want to go over your next assignment. So let's look at the calendar first. So right now, um, we're on class 3. We're going to talk about tobacco and alcohol tonight. 12-step programs, a little bit about the diagnostic process. I have a separate video on that also. But I want to talk about the abstinence-based assignment and journals and see if anybody has any questions for that, because all you have for the whole semester is discussion boards, and I think you have 5 of those, and you have the abstinence-based assignment and the final paper, and that's it. So I took out all the other assignments, and there were a lot of assignments, but I just wanted to keep it to the most important ones, the ones that K-CREP required. Uh, so let's go and look at uh, the requirements for that. Okay, so here's the instructions. They're in the syllabus. It's called abstinence-based assignment. Almost any addictions uh, class has this assignment in it. It's kind of like the assignment for addiction in counseling. So activity requires the student to commit to abstaining from an enjoyable or habitual activity for a period of at least 2 weeks. Full 14 days. So now's the time to do this. I don't want you to quit caffeine when you're writing the paper. So, you know, uh, so I think, but when you think about what you're going to give up, like some people give up like certain types of food or candy or chocolate or things like. I want you to think of something in your life that is somewhat addicting. So, for instance, coffee, tea, soda, something with caffeine in it. That's somewhat addicting. Those energy drinks, as you wouldn't believe how many drinks have caffeine in it. That would be a pretty common uh, chemical that people rely on every day. So that would be a good example of something to give up. Um, and I'm thinking like, I don't want you to give up anything healthy. Like, don't give up like exercise or something like that. Uh, Even if it's something you really enjoy, don't give up something healthy. Give up something that's unhealthy. Um, so if you're going to give up a food, it's got to kind of be give up something that across the board, like carbohydrates or, sugar. That's in, you wouldn't believe how much stuff either carbohydrates or sugar are in. So you've kind of got to go full spectrum if you're going to give up kind of a food product. Um, but caffeine would be a good one. If you smoke, hey, this is your opportunity. Um, if you're doing anything, you know, else like medical marijuana or something like that, hey, now's your chance. So Um, try to think about something to give up that you really do use every day. And it might be just a little struggle, to give up. Because the whole point of this exercise is to get just a little taste of what it's like to give up something that you may be addicted to. I know it's not like one of alcohol or drugs. You can give up alcohol. That'd be a good one. Um, but it's not like, some of the more potent drugs. Cigarettes, alcohol, that's pretty tough to give up. Um, we're going to talk about that tonight. Sugar in general, not just sweets, but sugar in general, caffeine. So all of those are examples of things that you can give up. You can think of something else, but I'd like you to experience at least a little bit of a physical addiction. A lot of people give up, I don't know, social media, watching television, something like that. Uh, Social media, I think, that would be okay because it's proven that just using social media on a phone, the lights, the reactions, the rewards, they know, they've studied gambling addiction. And they know that social media triggers the same chemical reactions in the brain as gambling. So social media would be a pretty good thing to give up. Um, you can always text friends. That's not social media. All right, so that's kind of the idea of what to give up. And if you don't know or you have an idea and you're not sure, just email me. Let me know what you're thinking. Think of an activity or behavior you enjoy and engage in daily or frequently. See, I don't like this. It's not just eating sweets or fast food. That's not good enough. But drinking coffee, using tobacco, not arriving late at events, drinking alcohol, that's a good one. Uh, Gambling, social media. All right. So, number one, okay, so this is the first part of the assignment. And this assignment, other than giving it up, it's really not a difficult assignment. You can't get it wrong, okay? So, the first part is keeping a daily journal of your experiences, emotions, thoughts, and interactions with others about your choice, relapses, cravings, defense mechanisms, withdrawal. Journal entries will be turned in at the end of the 2 week period, too. So keep a journal on the computer, like in a Word document, so it's easy to turn in. Just call it journal and your name. And, just pull it up each day at the end of the day and write about things like, wow, I really thought about just going to the fridge or, you know, having a cigarette or whatever it might be. How many times did you think about during the day? How hard was it for you not to? Did you just do it automatically because you forgot that you weren't supposed to? What was going on? Did you have a physical craving? Did you have an emotional craving? Did you have both? How did you ward off or overcome those cravings? What did you do? And you know, I think that there may be other related things like were you um, more moody or irritable uh, as you were giving these things up? How much did it bother you emotionally beyond the cravings? So we just want a paragraph a day, like a short paragraph a day, about what this process was like for you. All right, so that's the journal. Any questions on either what to give up or the journal so far? See, I'm drinking caffeine right now. And sugar. It's like caffeinated sugar. What else?
I do have a question. Have you had people quit like nicotine in the past for this project? And if so, how did that go?
Well, I mean, it goes as one might expect. I mean, it's it's difficult, you know? So people who do something like that, they give up alcohol or cigarettes, you know? When you pick a big thing like that, it's kind of like this is just kind of the opportunity to act on something they've wanted to do for a long time. So
That's how I was kind of viewing it.
yeah. So I mean, you've got to do it for 2 weeks, you know, for the project. Once you're at 2 weeks, you know, that's a pretty good start on giving up anything. So once you go to 14 days, that's a really good start. The first week is the toughest, you know, second week, relapses. And after that, you know, it's less physical and more emotional, but for at least alcohol and tobacco. But you know, so it goes as you might expect. You know, half the people can't do it, which is kind of like normal, anybody trying to give it up, you know, not just for this class. And you know what? If you fail at this, you don't fail the assignment. Okay. You just keep trying until the 14 days are over. If you relapse, write about it, you know, and then try again. So it's not like if you're not able to do it, you're going to fail. You just write about it and try again. Okay.
Okay. Do you happen to have like any resources like to help? Because like I like how you said like I want to use this as an opportunity and like take it seriously because I feel like I can't on my own. And so I was just curious if you had like any resources for like I don't know, like things to do if like you're craving whatever it is that you're quitting or
So I think it depends on what you're quitting, you know? So like nicotine and alcohol are big, big things, you
yeah,
know?
mine's vaping.
So does the vape you use have nicotine in it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's, you know, it's like giving up cigarettes basically.
Yeah.
So the uh the thing with nicotine is you can add up how much nicotine you're getting per day and basically see how much intake you're getting. And that how many times do you vape? How much on average do you get per vape? You know, and add it up through the day. And you can get help, like you can get a nicotine patch, and but you have to get the patches that, you know, it's patches for 1 week. You start with the patch that is slightly less than what your daily intake is, and every day it decreases for a week. You don't get the patch that's the same for a week, you know.
Mm,
So
okay.
you got to get the decreasing amounts of nicotine to kind of, that would be a gradual, that's not like cold turkey, you know. Um,
Right.
so then the only thing that doesn't do is, you know, the ritual of
The
vaping,
oral
smoke.
fixation.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a habit too. It that just doesn't have a physical addiction to it. It's more like a habit. It's more like an emotional comfort thing, you know.
Right.
So for that, I would substitute something.
Yeah, before I started vaping, I used chapstick like 800 times a day. So that
Yeah,
would
I mean, you could
probably,
mix it up. You could do chapstick, you could do carrots, celery, you can do all kinds of different things. Gum, you know, if you don't
okay.
want the patch, you could get nicotine gum that tapers off in the amount of nicotine. Um, Sometimes the gum works better. Uh, you know, so there's lots of things, you know. But yeah, I mean, lots of students just use this as an opportunity for something they've been wanting to do.
Yeah. Because like like also like I'm getting my tonsils out in late August and you can't during
Uh,
that time, so I like want to try to fix it now before that time
yeah,
comes.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's now's a good time then. If it's late August, now's the perfect time.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's great. Anybody else? Questions? Did you have some resources, Isabel? I thought I saw a hand. Yeah. Okay. Um, okay, so that's kind of what to give up in the journal. Journal doesn't have to be anything fancy. It's a journal, it's not APA. It's a paragraph at the end of the day. Okay. And put it all in one document. Don't do a document a day. Put it all in one long journal document. All right, so part 2 is write a 4 to 5 page paper in addition to the journal, describing the abstinent experience, including when you started and ended the 2-week experience, your use of defense mechanisms, minimization, denial, rationalization, projection, your experience of relapse, peer pressure. Did you use any assessment instruments? You can. You don't have to. An analysis of how the stages of change applied to your experience. What stage were you really in when you began the action stage activity of abstinence? I don't know if we're going to use the stages of change model, so I might just delete that. Um, how this experience may be beneficial for you when you work with clients, keeping in mind it was a short time period. So I think everything but this, you don't need the stages of change. I just want you to talk about it from your own experience. I don't want you to have to use a model with this or apply anything like that. So I think that's the only thing that you don't have to apply, that change model. All right, so 4 to 5 page paper. The big question everybody has is, does the cover page abstract and resources count in the 5 page paper? So, I'm thinking 3 pages content. 3 pages content. That means you don't need references or an abstract. You just need the APA title page and then write 3 to 4 page paper. That's it. All right, questions about the paper part? All right, let's scroll down and see when this is due. It's due class 6. That is the next to last class. And your final paper is due the very last class. So I didn't want them due on the same day. Um, we're going to go over the final paper next week. But the presentations, that's not a formal presentation. It's just on the last class. We're just going to share your papers with each other informally. It'd be great if everybody could come to Zoom or class to share your paper, unless you got a job or something and you're totally online and can't make it. That's okay. But whoever can come would be great for that. We're also going to share the abstinence papers, but it's not, share what you want to share. You share what you're comfortable sharing that night. But I would like you to hear about each other's experiences of this. So maybe you could commiserate a little bit. So we really don't have a lot of time left. Tonight, we're going to be doing tobacco and nicotine and alcohol. talk a little bit about dreamland. Next week, we're going to do codependency, some treatment modalities, narcotics and stimulants. Class 5 will be totally online. I'm going to be presenting in Prague, so there will not be a live class. I'll just have a recorded class. I'm going to give you a discussion of the final paper. I'm going to talk about other treatment modalities, and I'll see what else I want to include there. Class 6, we're going to do other kinds of addictions like gambling, shopping, pornography, sex, uh, and some of the different dynamics between, ages on the lifespan. Um, and you're going to share a little bit about what the abstinence-based assignment was like for you. And then the last class is kind of wrap up. We're going to turn in the final papers, share a little bit about your final papers. I'm going to have any final comments. That'll be the semester. All right, questions or comments about that timeline? Okay, you can email me if you do have questions. That's fine.